Gabon. The country of Gabon is located along the Atlantic coast of Central Africa. Gabon is bordered by Equatorial Guinea to the northwest, Cameroon to the north, and the Republic of the Congo on the east and south. Gabon covers 103,347 square miles and is slightly smaller than the size of Colorado, and the equator runs through the top portion of the country. The state of Gabon is compact, which makes communication and defending easy. Gabon's environment is commonly divided into three regions based on landforms: a narrow coastal plain, central highlands, and a jungle region. Significant mountains include the Crystal Mountains in the northeast and the Central Chalou Mountains. The country is full of numerous rivers, with the largest being Agui, which is 746 miles long. Gabon also has hundreds of caves located in the east-central areas. Gabon has a wet, hot climate typical of tropical regions, with humidity and high temperatures year-round. Rainfall ranges from an annual average of 120 inches to 150 inches. The majority of the rainfall occurs between October and May. This left map shows the rainfall. There is very little seasonal variation in temperature, with the daily average being in the low 80s. The chart to the right shows the maximum temperature of a city in Gabon in red and the minimum temperature in blue. In 1839 was when the French established the first long-term European settlement in the Gabon territory, and Gabon became part of French Equatorial Africa, and it wasn't until 1960 that Gabon declared independence. During that time of French empowerment, the pre-existing indigenous groups underwent acculturation, and French became the official language. Gabon is located in Stage 2 of the demographic transition model because of the high birth rate and falling death rate. We can tell that Gabon is approaching Stage 3 because of the increasing healthcare, education, and economic activities. Gabon's population as of 2017 was 1.98 million people. Since 1997, Gabon's population has dramatically increased, and the population growth rate is 1.9%, so it can be estimated that Gabon's doubling time is about 36 years. The ages between 1 and 34 are drastically higher than the older ages, and the population density is 6.75 people per 1 square kilometer. Gabon's dependency ratio is 67.4%, and 41.9% are below the ages of 15. Though there are so many children, Gabon's development and increased health should lead to the drop of the birth rate in future years. About 30 years ago, in 1990, Gabon's net migration was 7.9 migrants per 1,000 people, but as of 2016, it has decreased to -2 migrants. It is assumed that the decrease in migrants is caused by south-south migration, where migrants are traveling from developing countries to others looking for work or escaping disaster. Another assumption is that people are leaving Gabon because 60 to 70% of the population is living below the poverty line, and an estimated 35.7% are unemployed. On the other hand, many migrants from other African countries are attracted to some of Gabon's largest cities like Libreville in hopes of work and prosperity, but that results in too many migrants in slums. Up to 40 indigenous languages are spoken in Gabon, but French, being the official language, is used by all and taught in schools. 42% of Gabonese are Roman Catholic, 14% are Protestant, 32% are other Christian, 6.4% are Muslim, and 5.6% are other or no religion. The Gabonese are very spiritual people, and their traditions are mainly centered around worship and the afterlife. Art, masks, instruments, and tribal dances are sometimes considered acts of worship. Gabon holds many different ethnic groups, and they are scattered around the country. Though each ethnic group is different, they all have ceremonies for birth, death, initiations, and healing, and for casting out evil spirits. Since Gabon is a former French colony, Gabon retains strong ties to France and the French culture. Dance, songs, poetry, and especially art are important elements of Gabonese culture. This picture shows some of the typical art forms found in the Gabonese culture. While the Gabonese has primarily remained the same, over time popular culture has influenced some aspects such as clothing, such as the Nike shirt showing popular culture has diffused even to Gabon. In many of the other pictures, you can see the Gabonese people are wearing unique, colorful outfits, displaying that their traditional culture still exists. Gabon's healthcare exceeds its surrounding sub-Saharan African countries, with 90% of Gabonese people having access. Gabon's infant mortality rate is 44 deaths per 1,000 live births, and total life expectancy is 79.8 years. This graph displays how Gabon's crude death rate has dramatically decreased over the years as a result of the increase of healthcare, medications, and doctors. Gabon's literacy rate has increased from the 1990s and is at a high of 83.2%. This increase in the comparison to other countries show Gabon's education systems are becoming better, leading to more development in the country. Libreville is the capital city of Gabon and the most populous city. One of the primary reasons Libreville has grown so much as a city is because of the city's abundance of transportation methods, such as the Como River International Airport, the Trans-Gabon Railway, and the coast. These have made trade and transport successful in the city. Many migrants come to Libreville for work, but too many migrants and not enough jobs result in slums, which are full of poor workers from Senegal, Nigeria, Cameroon, and other places in West Africa. The large number of people in slums creates social tension. Large amount of land is taken over by rainforests in urban areas, leaving little land for agricultural production, causing Gabon to import the majority of their goods. Heavy rainfall and high temperatures has also decreased production and helped spread diseases. The staple food crops of Gabonese agriculture are cassava, plantains, yams, and others. The main farming practiced is shifting cultivation, which is subsistence and intensive. It can be described as slash and burn, where land is cleared for vegetation, usually by fire, and then left to regenerate after a few years. Like the majority of other states in Africa, Gabon has not yet gone through a green revolution, which is unfortunate because it would help decrease hunger levels by increasing agricultural production. As a result of Gabon's lack of agriculture, Gabon is not an important part of agricultural trade. Gabon's lack of agricultural production also means they have to import the majority of their food and other needs from Europe and other African countries because they are unable to grow enough for themselves. Gabon is part of the EU trade bloc, World Trade Organization, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, and the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Every organization has helped Gabon become more developed by helping with the country's economy. Fortunately for Gabon, the reliance on agriculture is unnecessary for the country's economy because of its placement in resource-rich Central Africa. Gabon is very rich in natural resources such as oil, timber, gold, diamond, manganese, uranium, and iron ore, with timber and oil being their main extractions. Gabon's reliance on resource extraction industry has released much of the population from extreme poverty, and crude oil accounts for 80% of the country's exports. Gabon primarily relies on its resource extraction industry, which is a primary sector. The next most important sector in Gabon is the tertiary sector, because 25% of workers work in services. The sectoral structure of Gabon's economy based on GDP is 4.5% agriculture, 53% industry, and 43% services. The majority of GDP coming from industry rather than agriculture shows Gabon's increased development, by most GDP coming from the secondary sector, not the primary. Unfortunately, the country is facing a decline in its oil reserves, so the Gabonese government has based its new strategy on economic diversification. The World Trade Organization has helped Gabon realize the need to transition to a post-petroleum economy, because eventually they'll no longer be able to rely on petroleum for their economic success. Gabon's gross national income per capita is $7,210 as of 2016. This is a per capita income 4 times that of most nations of sub-Saharan Africa. Despite Gabon's status as an upper-middle income economy, Gabon struggles with large income inequality, with 1/3 of the population living in poverty caused by unemployment and high urbanization. In addition, the large income inequality is a result of some people having an abundance of money, leaving some Gabonese people with way less. This has resulted in the creation of slums in cities like Libreville. About 60% of the population lives in cities, while 40% inhabit rural areas. Gabon conservationists hailed the move for ecotourism as a way to protect endangered animals in dwindling forests. Gabon has established 13 national parks as a way to boost the country's economy, and the idea was to turn Gabon into the Africa equivalent of Costa Rica. Not only has the tourist dollars provided local employment and supported conservation work on animals such as elephants, the money has also went to build schools in local villages. Deforestation has been the main way Gabonese people have modified the environment, and it is a result of the reliance of the economy on timber exports. Gabon has a fertility rate of 4 children per woman, which is way less than many African countries. Gabon has been working to increase gender equality, but it is still an issue, with 59.8% of women employed compared to 69.5% of men employed. And there is no specific law that requires equal pay for equal work in Gabon. The First Lady has created a program called the Akasi Microcredit Project, which is designed to enable women to start small businesses projects of their own, with the goal of improving women's statuses. Inequality is more rare in the farming world. The African woman in agricultural research and development has helped bridge the gender gap and enhance the positive participation of African women in agriculture. 60% of Gabon's farmland is managed by women, and they produce the bulk of Gabon's agriculture. Women have the same access to land and opportunity as men in the agricultural industry. Gabon has a federal government, and all Gabonese citizens are expected to participate, over the age of 21. Gabon is a presidential republic where the president of Gabon is both the head of state and the head of government of the country. The president now is Ali Bongo Ondimba. Though Gabon contains a variety of different ethnic groups, Gabon is considered a nation-state, primarily because it all came from the French descent. To conclude, Gabon is a former French colony on the west coast of sub-Saharan Africa that contains a variety of ethnic groups, religions, and languages, with the main one being French. Because of the lack of space and climate, agriculture is not a main part of Gabon's economy, but oil and timber are, and participating in trade blocs, high healthcare, and education, along with Gabon's economic success, has led Gabon to become more developed.